Welcome back, hockey fans, to episode 23 of Lightin the Lamp. So odd to hear myself say that, but I'm your host, Dola, and with me, as always, my co-host from the East Coast with the most, JG, my boy, my man, the horse racing man. How you doing, pal?
Good. I'm actually going to miss a really good one on Saturday. The Zip Man will be going after two races with us, first and second place. The boy is meant to win, so going to suck to miss it. Got some prior work engagements, unfortunately, but, if we want to keep the pony ring running, got to go to work. So, unfortunately, that's just the way it's going to roll, but I am unbelievably excited to get into today's conversation. So how's your day over there on the Gold Coast, Mr. Amendola, being that, we're going to be chatting it up quite a bit here tonight?
Dude, I mean, life has been good. Life's been warm. Again, just West Coast life just is pretty steady, man. When the temperature and the seasons don't change, just everything can always stay pretty linear for yourself out here. But I mean, love where I'm at. Life's good. Pooch is good. Lady's good. So, I mean, we're just working a ton. I mean, but beyond just working at the hustle back at, a good old the system engineering job, the lady is just hustling at the digital marketing game. And, and then you and I get to come together every now and then for some nice light in the lamp. But I always appreciate being on with you. Appreciate you taking the time here late at night, getting on with a boy. A little bit better timing. I know some of the morning episodes are rough for me to handle, but I appreciate you doing a late one here for the crowd and for the fans,
Listen, it's well worth it. Obviously a long work weekend coming up, and, we wanted to do this. We made a commitment here, and we're going to have to do some weird timing for the filming here. You've gotten up at 7 a.m. and chugged boots, and we got to sacrifice a little bit, and I don't mind doing it.
Allegedly, if my boss ever asks, allegedly I've chugged boots at before.
Yeah, but it was on a Saturday. It was on a Saturday.
It was always on a Saturday, always on a Sunday.
We filmed on Saturday and Sunday. Tim was not hungover. He was not in bed. He was, in fact, chugging a boot at 7 a.m., I promise. So let's get into the, this is half the reason I stayed up to chat with you. I love you. Sometimes I just pass out on you. Tonight was a close call, but I knew the topic coming up here for episode 23, and I was very excited about it.
JG, we started we're at episode 23, but we've had some short segments. We've had some episodes in between then when we have we've had about 27 videos pop up, 27 segments here of the lamp, and in 2 months, right? Like, I mean, we're pumping them out as much as we can for everybody, but it's been quite a journey. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's stopping at any point here, huh?
No, hell no. We're gonna make it happen, man. I mean, we're enjoying the shit out of it. It's a little, it's a little stress relief.
And to think about it, we start as a New York Rangers fan base podcast channel, YouTube channel. And that's what it was really supposed to be about. It was supposed to be about us bringing some New York Rangers content to the fans, getting the fan base together on a channel that's just about our team. But then we went into the bubble, and the Rangers went out of the bubble. So, now we're back together talking about New York Rangers, and that's all we're going to talk about tonight. And I think that's why I'm jacked up. I think I was a little bit deflated before, but now that I'm just talking Rangers like we should be, I think I'm back up, dude.
Listen, like I said, half the reason that I stayed up tonight, and I started drinking beer at 11:15 on a Thursday, 4 p.m. start. 4 p.m. start tomorrow at work. So unfortunately, when I'm done here, I'm going to go hit the hay, probably stay in bed till about noon tomorrow. But extremely excited to talk New York Rangers, and that is exactly why I'm up drinking beer right now. So let's get right the fuck into it.
Salute, pal. But let's say, light the lamp.
Let's light the lamp.
I have to put the, we've had the Tampa Bay Lightning, song go off here. We got to get the New York Rangers going here. So let's get number 41 for us. Let's go, baby. The New York Rangers lamp firing off. We believe in blue. Ooh, ooh, buried it, my man. Made it
Yeah,
happen. You still
you
alive
always
on me on the
do.
other side?
I don't even watch anymore because I'm just
Wow,
I'm
I'm not
just
even entertaining to you anymore. How am I
no,
supposed to entertain the
you're
fan?
entertaining, but you're just I mean, let's just be honest. You're spot on.
23 for 20,
Every
23
time I
for
bet against
23.
you, every time I bet against you or I hope for the bad bubble, you fight it and you get it down. There was only one missed boot in 23 episodes, and it wasn't even it was pretty damn close effort. So I would even call it 22 and 3/4 of a boot down in 23 episodes. I mean, that's pretty impressive statistics, if I must
I
say.
gotta say,
If I was an analytics guy looking to sign somebody on my beer drinking team, and those were the stats, I'd be giving Timmy Amendola the big ticket for sure. So
signing a contract to the beer drinking game. I mean, 22.75. I mean, it was only 22.75 because a little came up and you just never saw that.
yeah, well,
We'll let
I
you
would,
guess, fans, at which episode that happened there. We'll let you find out. If you listen
yeah,
to the
going
audio
back
track,
through, but
you might be able, if you actually go back, watch the videos and watch the audio track and you figure out which episode I yacked on, we might send you a little lamb swag. Just saying, if you throw us a comment or something, I'll definitely give that to you without a doubt.
well, for sure, absolutely for sure. But let's get right into it here, Tim. What do you got for me? What do you got for me?
Listen, I was excited to get back with you, JG. I really wanted to after our last conversation talking about all the trophies. I mean, we brought up a few Rangers players, but guess what? I wanted to talk about strictly the Rangers tonight and just really, we're 5 days away from the draft. You and me are going live October 6th for the draft when we draft Alexis Lafreniere first, and just to see the madness after that because we're picking 22nd too. And we'll see what we do with our pick. We don't know if we're picking 22nd, but that's exactly why we wanted to have this video, talk about a preview, our contract position, what happened already, because we have a few things that have already happened to the New York Rangers roster from last year, from when we were inside the bubble. So lots to talk about. And I think I'm going to get right into our first thing of the man, the myth, the legend, the guy between the pipes that we believed in for 15 years, Henrik Lundqvist, man. Buyout. Huge buyout. Shattered the world this week. And I got, dude, oh my God.
Bittersweet. It's bittersweet.
Let's not get into any contract stuff, but let's just have a salute to you, Hank. You are the model professional, the model man. Like, come on, dude, that jawline. I mean, fuck Tom Brady. I think you're the sexiest fucking hockey guy in all sports. Sexiest guy in sports. I mean, guy's been a stud and model for years, and I gotta say,
the man's a missile. He's a man missile, a man rocket, as the Chicklets boys like to call it. And I don't know if you want to get a good read on Hank. Apparently, him and Sean Avery are pretty good buddies, and there's a few excerpts in the book that I got to see today on the internet that were pretty interesting. So if you want some good information on Hank, I'm not gonna scream it out on you because it is a little inappropriate, but it's pretty goddamn hysterical. So if it's something you're interested in, grab Sean Avery's book, give it a read. It'll give you a laugh, but hell of a player.
I mean, he owns. Let's talk about just like how many franchise records does this guy own? I think most wins, most shutouts, most playoff wins, most playoff starts, most game 7 wins, most games, best game 7 save average. I mean, there isn't, I think, anything this guy did other than win a Stanley Cup, in which Mike Richter did. And if he won the Stanley Cup like Mike Richter did in 2014, I don't even think there would be a way another goaltender can even come in the same echelon as what Lundqvist is or was to this team or was to this city. I think he was every bit of what we needed as a team. And think about it, probably goes down as, maybe you say in football, Tom Brady, best like 7th round pick of all time. Henrik Lundqvist is the best 7th round pick of all time. And that is undisputed. Come at me, bro. send a comment, send whatever you want. Send your address. I'll show up to your house and we'll have a conversation. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that, but just an absolute specimen of an athlete, leader in every word, in every sense of the word, a face of a franchise. I mean, a great 15 years with New York, a guy I loved and cherished. The last couple of years, I've been a little hard on him. I was hard on him in the bubble. I didn't love the way he played, but I mean, at the end of the day, he gave everything he had in New York. I mean, the hard work, the competitive edge, his pride, his passion is hockey. There's nothing he loves more than to win and to play hockey, and you got to respect it. And I'm going to miss him. Definitely going to miss him. He will be missed, but I think it's just that time. And, we got rid of everybody. The last piece is really Chris Kreider. And, I don't mind him being the last piece. I think, it's that time in New York. I mean,
I understand.
We made a vow to make the move and start getting rid of guys and having a rebuild. And here you are with a brand new roster, and you got to love it. You really do got to love it.
Here's what I'll say. And I think, JG, I have a lot of different opinions, but I'm a big picture guy. And one thing that I think inspires a mentality, think about like what has happened to the LA Lakers, that Mamba mentality, right? Like where it's just like you play for something bigger than maybe even yourself. And it was incredible. There was an interview with Igor with Shesterkin, which is going to be our next Hank. Assumingly, he is assuming the throne. The Iron Throne of Hank is going to Igor, and I can't be more excited about it. But he's already said, when the press asked him, what do you think of Henrik Lundqvist? And he's like, he's the king. He's the king. The guy, his work ethic, his mentality, his expertise, how he plays the puck, the guy's the king. And when I think that you have a rookie that comes in and plays like how Igor does, but he looks at the NYR fans, the fan base, the city, and is like, I have to play up to the echelon of now Richter and back-to-back Lundqvist. In between, you might have had Van Beesbrook and Kevin Weeks. And I got to say, Kevin Weeks was the starter until he got hurt, and then Lundqvist came up, and Kevin Weeks never played maybe again after Lundqvist did what he did. So, I mean, the thing is I think it's necessary to have like a Kobe Bryant, that Henrik Lundqvist, that white goat that you're chasing on a franchise, so a goaltender can play to the next level. Like you maybe want to be the best of all time, but now if you want to play in New York and be the best of all time, you have to beat Henrik Lundqvist and Mike Richter. Good luck. You know what I mean? It's just like the bar.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't even think I have to wish Igor Shesterkin luck after watching what I watched last year.
No, but what I'm saying is what if he didn't think he had a bar to raise to, but now he has to jump over? Like, I want to put the competitiveness in his head, because now that it's in his head that this is what the level I need to compete to, I think it's going to be so much better for our fan base. I think it's going to be so much better for our future. I think he's going to play out of his mind every single time he touches the ice. We're going to get a Russian rocket that never ever. He's going to be a stone wall, and it's going to be incredible. And I think it's all because he knows the expectation. He played behind King Lundqvist, and I think there's a big thing to be said about that. That's just me.
I agree. But
listen, if you don't think you got big shoes to fill, are you going to fill those shoes, or are you just going to
settle you're 100%
right. You're in? I mean, that's all I'll say, right?
No, for sure. I can't disagree with you on that. I mean, you're definitely going to be, if you're Shesterkin and you got to get on the bench with Hank and see his competitiveness and everything like that, it's a good learning experience for him, and hopefully he looks to chase that competitiveness and that passion to win
and beat it.
100%.
Beat it. Like, listen, you have to, like, for someone to be a Vezina Trophy finalist 4 times. Like, I mean, you're going to be there 5 times, 6 times. I mean, let's go. You're not coming into small shoes here. We expect greatness, and everything he showed last year was pretty great. So, I mean, to Hank, we can't be happier for I mean, not happier, but I mean, we can't be more thankful for what you've done for us as a city, as a team, as me as a child for 15 years. I'm 29 years old, so half my lifetime you've been my goaltender, and it's been an incredible. I will always tell my kids about you, and your name's going to live on in my lifetime forever. So,
well, 100%. I mean, just an unbelievable goaltender for 15 years. I mean, I can't tell you I had season tickets for 4 seasons while he was the goalie there. I had season tickets for the year they went to the Cup. I mean, just an incredible experience. I got to meet him a few times, and what a hell of a attendee. So, I appreciate the shit out of Hank. I couldn't be more thankful for him, but we appreciate you, pal. Hopefully you win a Stanley Cup, and that's all I could really hope for you because you deserve it.
Hopefully you go to Colorado or another team in the running. But then there's another big piece of a long-standing, chess piece of the New York Rangers. Another one moved on, Mark Stahl. So, JG, you were excited about this one. Give me. I mean, honestly, after you filled me in on all the benefits of this trade, because I didn't understand it at first, because I thought we were just giving up the farm for just literally nothing, almost like literally nothing. But you tell the fans exactly why the Mark Stahl trade is a beauty in the making.
I mean, for me, one, you were going to buy out Stahl or Lundqvist or both, and you were going to bury yourself for potentially another couple of years. I mean, we have $13 million in dead cap space this year. So with that being said, moving the Stahl contract, you're now at about 7.5, not even.
No. We have 13 million in dead cap rate between Lundqvist, Shattenkirk, Spooner, and Richards. If you had Stahl on that dead cap rate, we'd have $18 million.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is he's not on that dead cap space. He's now working for us against the dead cap space. So you just lost $6.5 million in contract, $5.7 million because we paid him a bonus. So you lost $5.7 million. That's minus $13 million. So now you're at $8 million in dead cap space essentially compared to the $13 million because you're gaining that $6 million.
Your math is wrong, my man. My math is on fire.
$6 million minus $13 million is $7 million. He's $6 million leaning against the $13 million.
JG, you would be at right now if you added, because the Rangers are at $12.9 million in cap space between
$13 million, like I just said.
Between Henrik Lundqvist, Kevin Shattenkirk, Ryan Spooner, Dan Girardi, and Brad Richards. That does not even include Mark Stahl. So if you included him,
Mark Stahl's not in the dead cap space. I'm not including him.
We would be if we had maybe bought him out in 18.
You're not understanding me. I'm not including him in the dead cap space. I'm saying we just gained $6 million back. So now we're really only paying $7 million in dead cap space because you're minusing Stahl. Stahl we just gained back $6.5 million of that $13 million by getting rid of Stahl without eating his contract. So you got rid of him. Now you can re-sign Tony DeAngelo on a potential bridge deal at around $5 million, and all it cost you was Stahl and a second-round pick to sign Tony DeAngelo to a bridge deal and not have it go against your cap. Essentially, you're almost even. You're almost even. And
that was basically it. You basically had to move off Stahl, give a second-round pick, and then you get to keep Tony DeAngelo, who gave us 50 points.
And that is my main reason for being very excited with the trade. I thought you gained 5.7, and a fair bridge deal in my eyes for Tony DeAngelo would be about 2 years between $8 and $10 million. So, you're gaining that room by getting rid of Mark Stahl to pay him for next year, which is a huge deal with having $13 million in dead cap space. That was going to be a very hard thing for us to do.
I mean, just after seeing the Mark Stahl trade and after you kind of tuned me into just what it really meant for the Rangers in terms of getting his – because, I was shocked that it was like we gave up, Mark Stahl second-round pick for future considerations, which basically means nothing.
A bag of fun.
It basically means nothing, and it's just like maybe a prospect here. But losing his cap is massive for our organization. And then
Huge.
when I thought about just the prospect of that happening, I really was considering, you know, I saw reports coming out that we were buying out Hank, and I was so interested to why we were so eager to buy him out. Like it was just like, why can't we trade him? Why can't he wait and trade his clause? Like I know you have an opinion on it. It was just like I know he wants to get paid his money and also have an opportunity to move on, but maybe you also I don't know, maybe like it was very interesting that you have to eat that money for another year. He wasn't, there's
I mean,
obviously an unwillingness to waive the
they
no trade
spoke
clause.
about using him as trade bait at the deadline, and maybe Gordon put him out on the market, and there was no market. Maybe the market was you eat $7 million in salary, and we'll take Hank. And what was the point?
Sure.
You know what I mean? So maybe he went out on the open market and got some opinions from some GMs, and guys kind of told him, we'll sign him in our own capacity if he's bought out and he's a free agent, but we're not going to go handing out assets to grab Hank.
It's not even about giving out assets. It's kind of like the Mark Stahl trade. It's like we'll give you Hank and we'll maybe give you a prospect, and then guess what? We'll give you Hank and we'll give you a pick, or we'll give you somebody, a prospect, someone, and then guess what? You just eat it, and you're telling me there's not a somebody in the league that can use Henrik Lundqvist's services, that they're not willing to get an asset on top of Lundy and maybe eat a shitty salary for a year and then put him on another deal if he plays well in a tandem with the team. I just, you thought there may be a little bit more flexibility, but maybe the Rangers kind of wanted it to be amicable, break it off and just be like, hey, here's your money. We promised you this. Now, please find a team that's going to suit you without us being an anchor. I can understand that as a point. As a fan of the Rangers, you kind of always wonder, like Henrik Lundqvist, you buy him out, you give him his money. He's the greatest goaltender in your history, but you don't get anything back for him. And I guess that's a selfish thought, and I kind of see that. But, you always wonder just the moves from upper management. What's the conversation? What do they want? And it seems like maybe Jeff Gordon and John Davidson are just kind of maybe appeasing Hank a little bit, just being like, you know what, this is the end of the career. Just see what you can do, see who you can find. Here's your money. Thank you for everything you've done.
Yeah, absolutely. But a lot of talking on Hank here. Let's move into some potential signings coming up here. Obviously, we have. If you're looking at it, if you keep an eye on your cap friendly here, we have some guys coming up on UFA and RFA. So you got 1 year left with Hedel, and then he becomes an RFA. 1 year left with Gauthier, he becomes an RFA. 1 year left with Howden, he becomes an RFA. We got Ryan Strome RFA this year. Philip DiGiuseppe RFA this year. Probably not going to re-sign him. You got Tony
Brendan Lemieux apparently is very close to signing a deal. So apparently we are almost ink and paper with Brendan Lemieux, who
That's what I'm reading. I actually just read a rumor that the rumors of Tony DeAngelo contract talks drop him lower on TSN trade bait list. So doesn't look like DeAngelo is going to be going anywhere either after the buyout and the trade is stalled. So obviously, like I said, huge for the Rangers to grab that cap space and be able to re-sign some of these guys. But, there's a lot the Rangers need to do here. Obviously, my number one thing is, and we've talked about this, is the sandpaper. We need, in the worst way, if you go through this roster, it's a good roster. It's not great. It's high end in the top 9. And then, the bottom 3 were okay. And, most of the D were pretty good. The goaltending was pretty good. We need a little D. We definitely need to sign a D or get rid of Smith and get Keandre Miller up here and start working with our own D. But, we need sandpaper in the worst way. We were horrific in the bubble as far as toughness went. Team toughness was at an all-time low. Brendan Lemieux came back. He mixed it up for 1 game or 2 games. Didn't work out, but he needs somebody to be on that line with him. And I've said some names. to me, the one that makes the most sense is Patty Maroon out of Tampa Bay. I mean, a veteran, a guy who could show these young guys the way, a guy who's scored 27 in the league, a guy who's fought some of the toughest guys in the league, a guy that could play on a fourth line with some young guys and score 10 to 15. I mean, Brendan Lemieux was a first-round pick. The boys can mix it up and finish in front of the net. So definitely need someone similar to that type of caliber, and I'm all over Maroon. Would love maybe a Sorelli. I know you love
Corey Perry. We're gonna get Corey Perry too.
I think it's Corey Perry, but I know you made the jokes about Stamkos. But if we're gonna go letting it all go, I'd rather give up 2 first-rounders and a high-end prospect for Jack Eichel than your boy Stamkos.
What a rumor flying around is the Eichel rumors, and I mean, come on, like a top tier player, a top
He's
tier.
Going to play there this year because they just paid him a $7.5 million signing bonus. So if Eichel leaves, it will be at the end of the 2021 season.
I mean, it's funny that it's just an incredible center that is possibly up for grabs, and the rumors start flying, the mill is going, it's buzzing, and then all you hear is Eichel to the Rangers. And I mean, I would definitely welcome it. Like, again, like I think we talked about it. You get Eichel, you get Maroon, you get maybe one other piece, and we are ready for a Stanley Cup. We are ready for it. Like, we are not far off.
We need Trouba to either become the big-time defenseman that we signed at $8.5 million, or where we need to expose him to the expansion draft and go out and sign a big-time defenseman. I mean,
wow.
I like the guy. I think he can be what we need him to be, but I need to see him do that. Wow, good. I'm glad it didn't, because I'm not making it. I don't want it to
There it is. Hot take. We need to get rid of Trouba.
No, that's not what was said. If he can come out this season and perform to his capability, which I don't think that he did this season. I thought he 8 minutes. I thought he was good. I don't think he was great like he was supposed to be. He's getting paid top 5. He's getting paid number 1 defenseman money. $8.5 to $10.5 million is the market for a top defenseman, and he's getting his $8 million. So if you're going to be an $8 million guy, then you need to play like an $8 million guy. And that I like the guy. I think he had a good season. I just don't think he had an $8.5 million season. And if you're going to keep a young guy and pay him that kind of money, then he's going to have to perform to the standard that you're paying him. And if not, then maybe he does better elsewhere and you can go sign somebody. I mean, I don't want to get rid of him right away. I'm not giving up on him. I give him the season. But if you give me another 30-point season at $8.5 million, we got to start talking trades.
Not a hot take. We'll see what happens. Definitely need Trouba to come with it. But, I mean, it's going to be exciting. I mean, we have the NHL draft in we got to say 5 days. Let's call it 4 just because it's on October 6th. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be filming live, and we're going to watch the New York Rangers really shore up just basically all the winger slots on the roster with Alexis Lafreniere with the number 1 overall pick. I don't think there's been any movement at all with anybody saying that any other pick is even in mind. This kid is a surefire number 1 overall pick, 60-point season. Hopefully just impact player from year 1. What are you thinking, JG?
I don't know, man. I'm kind of torn, man. I'm looking at the Rangers roster as is, and I went fucking crazy when we found out we were going to be getting my boy Alexi, and now I'm looking and like,
are you going Byfield? Are you really just
No. Does it make sense to not give up a single player on your roster and move a player who is supposed to be great, but is he guaranteed to be in the same tier as a Jack Eichel? And could you potentially trade straight up first overall for Jack Eichel? A player in his prime, a proven first overall centerman, and we already have a first-line centerman. So now you have 2 first-line centermen for your 1 and 2. And if you sign a guy like Sorelli in the mix, Now the Rangers are the deepest team down the middle in the NHL, and your wings are already shored up. As much as you would lose Lafreniere, you're not going to lose Kakko. You're not going to lose Kravtsov. You're not going to lose Hedel. You're not going to lose Keandre Miller. You're not going to lose Tony DeAngelo. Because if you want to make the trade for Eichel, the only way to do it without losing a Kakko, a DeAngelo, a Georgiev, is to give up the first overall pick. Do you save 3 to 4 high-end players for one potentially superstar player?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's a tough call, but the more I read into what they want is a king's ransom. And honestly, Eichel and the Rangers at this point of the rebuild, it just seems like a match made in fucking heaven.
Veteran players led a team for years, kind of basically
he's a
team on his entire back.
He's a 1996 birth year. I'm 29 years old. I'm a 1991 birth year. That makes him 24 years old. So you're getting a player that's the next – first of all, he's signed for a while. And second of all, you're getting a player that's in his prime for the next 6 to 8 years in the middle of your rebuild starting to end. And that is what makes it the last week I've been second-guessing my craziness over Lafreniere, and I really am excited about him. Whether we take him –
we got to get a hot take.
Whether we take him or we trade him for Eichel, I would be happy either way. I mean, he's going to be a stud. He could potentially come out and be a game breaker next year, and I could kick myself in the nuts. But, I mean, it just seems like a match made in heaven.
That's incredible. What could happen? I have no idea. I don't know. I don't see that happening. I don't either. Fire pick of Alexis Lafreniere. I think all in New York, maybe other than you, might shit themselves. Just if that were to happen. So
but think about it. I mean, listen, as a hockey fan, as obviously now we're doing a podcast, so we're kind of watching and paying attention a lot more than we were for a while. Like, think about the benefit. I mean, there is pros and cons for sure, but think about the player you get today in exchange. And that's why, as a hockey guy, it just makes it hard. I mean, I don't think we do it, and I'm not going to be mad that we don't do it because Lafreniere could potentially be absolutely incredible, and he's got the talent to be right now. So I'm happy either way, but, I mean, it's something to think about. I mean, if you're going to make a big trade for a center or a big-time player and you could save the rest of your roster without gutting 3 to 4 pieces, it might be worth thinking about.
It's definitely a win now mentality, though, right? Like, we want to start
100%.
Like, we got to go for it. But I mean, pretty incredible. I mean, a lot of things to come up, and I mean, I think the draft is going to be incredible. Like, obviously, you think possibly we might trade the number 1 overall pick. I don't think it might happen. I think we're definitely taking Lafreniere. I definitely think we might move the 22nd overall pick, but we're definitely going to see what happens. There's a lot of exciting things to be about as a Ranger fan. I definitely think that it's been wild to just see Stahl and Lundqvist, move off of the team. And then we have Kreider, and then, now we have Panarin, Zibanejad, and all these pieces just ready for the new wave in the future, and just more than excited to be a Ranger fan. I mean, what else you got for me, JG?
I mean, I'm just looking at a couple things here. I mean, I'm looking at a mock draft here, and, sounds like these guys make it sound like you're pretty right. So the New York Rangers haven't had a first overall pick in the modern era. They picked a heck of a year to get lucky, and they will not pass up on Alexis Lafreniere, who projects to be a top-line scoring wing, and few players have put together a resume as impressive as his at such a young age. So a lot of opinions swaying your way from what I'm reading. I mean,
it's almost like the NFL when there's a number 1 overall consensus pick. It's just like it seems like that's where we're at, and it's Alexis Lafreniere. And I don't mind it. I don't mind in a year where there's not a normal, like really the normal draft, the normal sequence, meeting with players, all that stuff, to have the number 1 overall consensus pick when you can't in those fringe areas really estimate players beyond just film tape, and that's just me. Right.
100%. I mean, but, there's still a lot of moves for the Rangers to make here. I mean, we have a lot of 100%. Potential to make some trades and pick up some cap space, and, just an exciting time to be a New York Ranger fan right now. So hopefully the boys make some crazy splashes at the draft, and I'd be really excited to see us take Lafreniere and then maybe go move a first round pick and a couple other pieces and grab something huge, a big time centerman, and really shore up the team that we've been looking to shore up for a couple of years now, and really turn the page. I mean, you got the big time stars up front. You don't really need anything else after Lafreniere and maybe another centerman and few, like I said, veteran pieces, a Patty Maroon of sorts, something like that. I mean, but not a lot left to do for the New York Rangers to contend. So just an exciting time to be a fan. Last thing, what do you think the Rangers are going to do with Ryan Strome? We didn't even bring it up.
I don't know, man.
He was a huge piece last year. Like, do you just let him walk?
I don't know, man.
Do you think Kravtsov is ready to step into that role?
Getting into it, last minute thoughts. I mean, really just exciting to talk about just, really the New York Rangers after a really long while. So I got to say, it was really exciting to be on JG, probably cutting out a little bit of just what happened. And just, again, thank you for bearing with me. But again, New York Rangers talk finally back at home, and it feels right? Like, it's not something that, we're watching hockey to do. We're not, making notes. You're not making any notes. It's just Rangers hockey, and it so well. It's like your blood, and it's just something that just it's what this pod is all about. It's what it's about, and it's nice to finally be back and just talking. Just
very,
Rangers.
very excited, and obviously we got the lot draft coming up on the 6th and 7th here. I mean, we're just going to do the 6th and watch the Rangers absolutely nail Lafreniere and then find a way to pick up a number 2 center and sign Patty Maroon all on the same day. It's going to happen, I promise. Hot take. But, it's been great talking Rangers with you, pal, and it's getting extremely late over here on the East Coast, so it's about time for me to sign up and out and go hit the hay. My wife cracks me over the head, so we appreciate it, fans. Like, share, follow, all the good stuff, and we'll be back on with you soon here.
All right. That sounds good, JG. You take it easy. Tell the world to take it easy. And